Good morning, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Happy Sunday, everybody. How y'all doing today? Man, it's been raining all day today in DC. I mean, I mean, raining. So, just been just watching and paying attention to all of this madness that's going on in the world. Um, you're now seeing a lot of things that have been hidden and in secret are now being exposed. A lot of people are now being exposed. You know, see, karma is coming back to folk, and a lot of them ain't ready for it. You know, and nobody's perfect. Let me say that again. Nobody's perfect, man. You still, no matter how much you believe in God, how saved you are, you still got some issues that you're dealing with. Everybody got some issues they're dealing with. One way or the I don't care how rich or how poor you are. There are a lot of people that's got money and got bad health. They really can't enjoy it. They've worked all of these years and made all these sacrifices, and now they can't even enjoy the fruits of their labor because they're dealing with some more stuff. And your health is your wealth. And let me say that again. Your health is your wealth. And if you ain't got good health, buddy, you miserable. You are miserable. You're not happy. Okay? You're just not happy. And a lot of people, don't want to deal with that responsibility of dealing with somebody that's sick. And that's why you got to be careful about who you attach yourself to. Because if you attaching yourself for the wrong reason, you're gonna be thoroughly disappointed. And a lot of people, David, you the first one. Oh, boy, hey, shut up, okay? Let me see who you are. That's one thing I can say, boy. I have some dedicated trolls.
I ain't lying. I got some dedicated trolls, man. them jokers, them jokers. Let me see here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second here. Let me see who you are. Let me see who you are. Okay, yeah. You know what, David? I'm gonna let you stay because you joined last year, so I'll let you stick around for a little bit. Okay. Where I'm from D.C. I'm in Washington D.C., the nation's capital. That's where I'm from. Okay, that's where I'm from. But anyway, and then too, man, we coming into a lot of different energy in the universe from all of this darkness, all of this revenge, this negativity. It's coming to a screeching halt. And um, if you notice now, a lot of people, a lot of people's anger is really destroying them, coming back to bite them. I mean, it's just coming back. And this is why you got to be real careful, about how you treat people. You really do. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, BKL. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I really am. I got, hey man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm healthy. You know, yeah, all my needs are met in spite of, because even with Cash App, man, I've been trying to get to why my Cash App was deactivated. And one guy said, "Oh well, it's tied to some gambling." I said, "Man, that's a mistake. I don't gamble. I don't do that online gambling and all that other stuff, man. That's just a ripoff. That's just some people that's just trying to get your money. That's all they doing. So, but God's still been blessing me though. In spite and two of my biggest givers, Everett and Bernie, Cash App. Those two of my biggest givers are on this app right here with Cash App. And I still been able to. God's still been opening up a way, man. That's one thing I can say. People ask me all the time, why do what makes you do what you do? Why do for 5 years, every day, you consistently go down to the White House with that message, stop hating each other because you disagree? Well, one, because somebody need to do it. And rather than sit back and complain about what somebody should be doing, do it myself. I do it myself. I don't have to wait on nobody. And I'm telling you, man, God gave me the idea because when I first started in 2020 at the White House, man, I mean, they would just totally ignore. Man, in fact, a lot of people, because I had a donation bucket out in front of me, would say, "Are you begging?" Because I'm asking for support to help me get a message that everybody agreed with. And I realized, being an entrepreneur, that this is the first universal message that I've ever. Stop hating each other because you disagree is a universal message that'll fit anywhere in the world, in any language. Okay? It's universal. Everybody's got that problem. They hate each other because they disagree. So since I know this is a universal message and it'll fit anywhere in the world, man, I got to be the biggest dummy going to get that up, to quit, to be discouraged. And every time I get to that point where man, I just, Lord, I can't take this no more. He'll send somebody along. It's like when I'm playing the national anthems of other countries, and 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 I just say what my intuition tells me. Whatever my intuition tell me, this is where you from, this place. And people look, how you do that? I said, man, it's just a blessing from God. It's actually a divine. A lot of people miss out, man. If I can look at you and say, you from Colombia, you from Kazakhstan, you from Uzbekistan, or you from Brazil, or Cameroon, or Nigeria, or DRC. If I can look at you and say, this is where you from, and you say, how you know that? Man, it's God. It's just something God, it's just a gift from God. That's all it is. And a lot of people miss that moment. They don't take that as a divine moment. They don't see it that way. And it's going and I'm telling y'all, see, the mistake a lot of people have made is they haven't started trying to manifest some of their ideas. That's the mistake a lot of people have made. You have not manifested. You haven't been getting the kinks out. So when see now, like today is February the 22nd, 222. Okay? It's a lot of folk have not even start trying to manifest anything that they can hit the ground running with. See, now you got to start from scratch and you losing time. See, and I'll tell anybody, man, if you get an idea, start trying to manifest that thing. Okay? See, because an idea is just a door. That's all an idea is a door. And there's something behind that door. See, just like God say, be fruitful and multiply. Well, your ideas are gonna multiply. They're gonna create other ideas. See, when you embrace an idea, you don't know where that thing gonna lead you. You have no idea. And some ideas are designed to knock you flat on your butt just to see what you're gonna do. Some ideas are designed to knock you on your butt, just to test you. And you got to be see, and that's why I keep telling you, don't get caught up in all of this drama, this backbiting, and this gossip. Man, let them fools have that. You pay attention to what's going to keep peace in you. So that when an idea come to you, it won't be distorted with a whole bunch of other mess. That's what you need to do. Learn what that voice of God sounds like in you. And when you learn that voice, when it tells you something, you won't question it. You won't question it. And God will show you. Man. Let me see. This is February. I think 2 years ago, we'll be coming up on. I saw this solar eclipse. Me and my daughter and my grandson, we went up to Ohio, where LeBron James is from, to watch the eclipse. That was like going up there was like a 5-hour drive, and coming back was like almost an 8-hour drive. That's how much traffic that people that went to see it. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you ever get the chance to watch a solar eclipse, it'll be an experience that this guy. You know what? Let me show this message. I'm gonna check you out, see who you are. I'm gonna see who you are. Let me check you out. Yeah, let me check you out. See, go to your channel. See what you talking about. Oh, you got 57 subscribers. Wow. Staying off the grid. Okay, I'm gonna let you stick around because you've been here for a minute. But since you speaking of, he say, look, everyone, it's a homosexual. Man, a shithole is not my pleasure palace. I like Punani. A shithole is not my pleasure palace, buddy. Okay, I don't get off on that. I get off on Punani. I like Punani. Okay, that's what I like. All right. So you can say whatever you want to say, and if that's your lifestyle, man, God bless you. Because at the end of the day, when you close your eyes for the last time, you're going to have to deal with that shit. Not me. Okay? Not me. And see, and I know that God can't bless wrong. And all of them in that lifestyle talking about God ain't nowhere near them. And if he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of homosexuality, how you think he gonna accept it? And ooh, man, I just found out about a guy um, um, that is in over in Africa. His name was Simeon Toko, Simeon Toko. Man, y'all look that dude up. They tried to kill this guy and couldn't. Simeon Toko. They actually cut his heart out. He was on the operating table and set up and say, "Why y'all doing this to me?" They couldn't kill him. And finally, they chopped up his body and sent it all over the world. This guy was from the Belgium. Belgium was trying to kill him. A guy was on a tractor and told him that something was stuck, and could he go under there and try to get it out? And when he climbed under the tractor, the man turned the thing on and it cut him up, and he still got back up. They couldn't kill him. They could not kill him. Okay, man, look up. I just found out about that guy, Simeon Toko. Okay, look him up. They call him the Black Jesus. They tried to kill him and couldn't. They tried, but and even though they have, and see, see, that's how God is. See, a lot of times people think I ain't worried about him. That don't even phase me. Cause see, first of all, when people can look at you and kind of get your vibe. And ain't no gay person gonna come up and cause they gonna see I ain't about that shit. I just, it's just my mannerism. Gonna tell you I ain't with that. Okay? If that's your lifestyle, man, I ain't got no Don Lemons, I could care less. That's what it ain't. It just shows you, see, this is what you got to this BKL, this is what you got to realize. Don't be upset with somebody showing you who they are. See, that's that lifestyle is a low vibration. That's a low vibration. And when somebody come and show you, when they show you a low vibration, don't get upset. They saved you some time. Now you ain't got to figure them out. See, I don't have to figure that person out. And even if they come up in here, they ain't gonna stay because they they don't fit. They don't fit. They truly don't fit. And see, and this is what I'm saying, man. You got to be careful about the energy that you putting into the atmosphere right now. You got to be careful, because what you putting out is what you're gonna get back. It's what you're gonna get back. And if you are vibrating in a low energy, man, that's all you're gonna get is negativity. So I no, it don't bother me. He did me a favor. I know who I'm dealing with. And see, and sometimes that's what you got to do. Instead of being offended, see what you're dealing with. He done saved me some time. That's it. That's all he did, was save me some time. Okay, no, I picked my wallet up and damn to mess with me either. I, Friday, I was going home and going to the subway, and and I saw this homeless girl, this homeless lady, standing in the middle of the sidewalk. So I stopped and gave her some money. When I tried to hand the money to her, she didn't want to take it. So I just dropped it in her stuff, and she took the money and threw it on the ground. And I told her, I said, that's why, see, this is why you in the position you in. You ain't hurting me. You're the one homeless. And man, she spit at me. And I said, girl, I wish you would spit. I'll knock you. I said, I'll knock you the fuck out. Spit on me. And I'm gonna knock you the fuck out right here in the middle of the street right now. You know, because you ain't hurt you. This is why you in the position that you're in. Because look how nasty you are. Oh, you a criminal. You a criminal. You can say what the hell. You don't even know who I am. If I was such a criminal, I wouldn't try to give you no money. If I'm a criminal, I said, but if you spit on me, I'm gonna tell you now, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Now that's what I told her. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Spit on me. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And I meant that. No, you don't be that disrespectful, man. And see, a lot of people don't realize this is, and that could have been her test. God showing you this. Look at her attitude, and she's wondering why. Now, see, some of it is mental health, and some of it is just outright ignorance. I'm not gonna blame everything on mental health. Some of that stuff is just downright, you just nasty. You getting, this is the karma. This is the kind of lifestyle that you've lived, been nasty to people. And now it's coming back, and how you can be in a situation, especially homelessness, and have a nasty attitude. I mean, that should be humbling within itself. And that's why, man, I thank God. I honestly thank God every day that, man, that could have been me. I could have been in that position. That could have been me. And see, most folk don't realize, boy, they just one event away from a disaster that'll turn their life upside down. And they would turn around and blame God. But see, when you trust and believe in God, you ain't gonna take advantage of nobody, man. You ain't gonna do it. Didn't say you wouldn't cuss a joker out. And see, and this is what a lot of people realize, that you can live a righteous lifestyle. When you live a righteous lifestyle, you ain't perfect. You just not harmful. You ain't gonna take advantage of nobody. When you live a righteous lifestyle, you ain't gonna cheat. You ain't gonna lie. You ain't gonna deceive. You ain't doing none of that. When you live a righteous lifestyle, and see, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't believe living living a righteous lifestyle actually works. A lot of people don't even believe that. A lot of people, some of them even question, where's God? You know, a lot of people are asking, man, where's God? He's right in you. That's where he is. He's in you. You looking for him up in the sky, man. God is in you. But if you don't want to apply yourself, if you don't want to do the things you need to do, then you ain't gonna get the results you're looking for. And you can't blame nobody else. Man, listen. I know, and sometimes people are not fair. Okay? I know there are situations where people are just not fair. You got some nasty people in this world. You really do. And a lot of them are judges, police officers, lawyers, doctors. They just evil. They just not good. They evil people. And you got to believe that God is going to protect you. Now, some stuff you're going to have to go through to learn. Some stuff you're going to have to endure because you're learning. You can't learn nothing if you don't never go through nothing. Let me say that again. You can't learn nothing if you don't ever go through anything. And unfortunately, most folk don't want to go through nothing. They want everything on a silver platter. And it don't work out that way. It don't work that way. I look at what's going on in New York. I look at Deion Sanders. A lot of people are critical that uh, his girlfriend has been around with several rappers and whatnot. But look how what he went through um, to find some happiness. Look at how the stuff he had to. I mean, imagine. I can't even imagine. You know how I would feel if I had to wear a diaper because I couldn't control my bladder. Think about that, man. And you in the public's eye. You're in the public eye. And the one thing I can give him credit for, he took it like a champ and made some lemonade out of lemons. So okay, I got this situation. Well, let's. There are other people dealing with the same thing. Shoot, let me hook up with this diaper company. You don't think the pens ain't paying him millions of dollars? You don't think the pens is paying him millions of dollars? Because he's now a spokesperson for them? You don't think he's not getting paid? He's a savvy business person. And sometimes, man, you gotta go through some stuff to get to some stuff. You really do, because adversity guards the door to success. If success was so easy, everybody would be in there. If success was easy, everybody be successful. But adversity guards the door to success. The closer you get to the door of success, man, the more your life is going to get turned upside down to try to discourage you. And unfortunately, it do a lot of people get discouraged and they right at the door and they quit and give up. They quit and give up. I just saw today where Trump and his wife now are calling for unity. They're asking people to um Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders. He Cariucci or whatever her name is. He gave her a way out. Told her, "No, you ain't got to stick around." She said, "I ain't cut out like that. I'm not gonna leave you. I'm gonna stick with you." See, and that's when you find out who's who. Who gonna be around when the shit hit the fan? Who gonna stick with you when the shit hit the fan? Are they still gonna love you? Are they still gonna be there? Are they still gonna support you? Are they gonna get up and run? And see, and let me tell you about love. Love It's about what you can tolerate. When you actually love somebody, they can get on your last nerve. And you good with it. They can get on your last nerve. And ain't gonna irritate you. It ain't gonna chase you away. Ain't gonna do none of that. You learn how to deal with them getting on your last nerve. That's love. Okay? That's what love is all about. Being able to tolerate what gets on your nerves. And when you can tolerate it, you in good shape. You ain't going nowhere. You're gonna stick around. You see, cause you know the value of the person that you got in your corner. But most folk, man, they don't know the value of the people that they got in their corner. They take it for granted. They actually take it for granted. And we all been used. I got 11 people up in here, and I bet you 11 out of 11, somebody one way or the other been used. Okay, it's compatibility. It sure is. It sure is. And that's something that you grow into, man. You ain't gonna automatically pick up this. You grow into that. That's maturing. When you grow into stuff, you are maturing. You're developing. And most folk, again, don't want to make a mistake, and they don't want to learn, because that's how you're gonna learn, making a mistake. A black woman. My wife is from the Philippines, but it was a black woman that taught me how to love my wife. It was a black woman that showed me where the love was in my heart. I mean, she showed me where that love was in my heart. She didn't appreciate it. Yeah, it hurt. But that's what, when I met my wife, I was like, oh man, I've been here before. I know where I am. It ain't strange to you. See, when you've been through it, you don't react to it the same way as other people would, like it was your first time. No, this ain't the first rodeo. It's not. But if you start, you know, internalizing this, taking it personal, and all this other stuff, man, you'll be miserable for the rest of your life. And that's the mistake a lot of people make, is they start taking stuff personally. It's again. No, man, this is just that's the path you're on. If you was on a different path, you'd be going through something else. You'd be experiencing something different if you was on a different road. Okay? So don't and that's why I keep telling y'all, man, don't get caught up in all this Epstein stuff and this and that. Man, let them folk do what they do, because all of it is demonic. And and they ain't getting away with nothing. Let me say that again. Them people ain't getting away with nothing. See, the question that nobody's asking is, all these rich and powerful men that's been screwing these young girls, what kind of relationship they have with their daughter? See, there ain't nobody asking that question. A lot of these men screwing these young girls, you think they ain't looking at their daughters some kind of way? It would be interesting to see how many of their daughters have been molested by them, because they like young girls. Ain't nobody talking about. See, they ain't even lifted that rug up yet. ain't nobody, and we all know that our current president said, if his daughter, if she wasn't his daughter, he would date her. He would date her. How you look at your own flesh and blood like that? Come on, that's sick. That you got your own flesh and blood, man. You get, and see, ain't nobody bringing that issue up. What about these daughters? If they like young girls, so what's going on with their daughter? How they treat their daughter? And I guarantee you, if you start asking some questions, oh no. You can really start seeing a lot of people leave up out of here. A lot of people going because that prince is gonna talk. Cause when they showed a picture of him sitting there, you see his eyes was like this. This is how his eyes were like. Oh shit! He shot. He done got away with it for so long, and it's done finally caught up with him. And and that's the thing that a lot of people been getting away with stuff for years, and now it's time to pay up, and they're gonna be just like this. I mean, this is how his eyes was. He's sitting in the back of his eyes buck like whoa. Yeah. His eyes was like, whoa. I mean, and he gonna crack. Cause it's the first one that get the deal. See, that's the one that's gonna skate. And you believe me, they putting some pressure on him, buddy. And think about this, y'all. Think about this now. You've been living a royal lifestyle. And now you looking at jail for the rest of your life. You think that ain't playing no games on him? Look at P. Diddy. Can go anywhere in the world, travel anywhere in the world, first class private. Got his own jet. You think them bars ain't sitting in that jail cell, ain't played no tricks on his mind? When he done went from being on top of the world to now you confined like an animal. See, because you can say what you want, man, but once that jail cell closed on you, buddy, that's a whole different. Man, I remember when I was fighting the corruption in the police department, in the vending unit. Boy, them guys would come and lock me up, man. Take all my shit. I had to start over from scratch until I go to court. They hold my stuff for evidence, trying to destroy me. And first time they put me in jail, boy, they closed that door. I was like, Lord, yeah, this is something to behold. Okay, that jail. Once they close, man, and God, man, see, God to give you a favor. One time, they locked me up and they took me downstairs, and a police officer because I was vending right across the street from police headquarters was where I was vending. So a lot of them cops I knew. And man, they brought me downstairs to Central Cell in a courthouse. And he said, man, them cops still messing with you? I said, yeah, man, they got me. He said, I tell you what I'm gonna do, brother. He said, I'm gonna sit you on this bench. I got to put a handcuff on you. But rather than let you sit in that cell, you sit on this bench. Okay? But I gotta handcuff you. I said, I ain't got no problem as long as I don't. Yeah, I was in jail. Yes, indeed. Took me 7 years, but them cops finally got busted. And I'm probably the only civilian in DC that has fought corruption in the police department where some cops actually went to jail. Yeah, George Hardy and David Brooks. Yep, they went to jail. And it's crazy how they got caught, man. Them I mean, they was putting pressure on me, man. Because I spoke up. I went to internal affairs. And that's why I ran for mayor of DC. I went to internal affairs to complain about the bribery, and Sergeant Everett came over and told me, he said, Mr. Folden, the only thing that we could find what Jamie, how you doing? The only thing we could find was you didn't want to adhere to the vending rules and regulations. That's the only thing we could find. We couldn't find no corruption. And I looked at me, I said, man, I said, if I got to run for mayor to tell this story, I will. And he looked at me, he said, man, don't waste your time. You're a street vendor. Ain't nobody gonna listen to you. I said, what you say? He said, you're a street vendor. Ain't nobody gonna listen to you. I took it personal. I walked, and Board of Election was right in the building in front of me. I walked right into Board of Election. What I got to do to run for mayor? They said, raise your right hand. Here's some petition. We need 2,000 valid signatures for you to get on the ballot. And I went out and got 4,000. I got 4,000 because it was about, it didn't have no money and no organization, because you can't tell me what I can't do. And got about 195 votes too. Sure did. People ask, that's all you got? Well, what did you get? People, hey, that's all you got? Yeah, what did you get? What have you done? Have you said, I'm gonna tell this story, and then and got in it and started enjoying it? I mean, let me tell you. John Ray, God bless his soul. Oh, no talking John Ray. John Ray had a lisp like Joe Frazier. He couldn't talk. He was from the South. He could not talk. And boy, just every time he opened up his mouth, man, it make your skin crawl. It would make your skin crawl. That's how bad he talked, you know? And to compound it, he tried to talk proper. And it just didn't come out right. And I never will forget, man. I think it was like our second or third mayoral debate. We was in a church at 8th and 8th Street Northwest. And that was before doing tours. Yeah, this back in 94. It's back in 19 when I was a young buck. It was 1994. And I spoke to John Ray. I said, good morning, Mr. Ray, how you doing? He said, Mr. Folden, you're nothing, you're nobody, and you don't count. I said, what you say? He said, you're nothing, you're nobody, and you don't count. And we in church. And I said, motherfucker, you're going to regret that till the day you die. I promise you that. And I was on his ass. Every time I saw him, I was on his ass. Because he was the front runner. He was the front. That's when Marion Barry, the last time he ran for mayor, he was in that group. And he was out. Marion Barry, Sharon Pratt Kelly, Carol Swartz, John Ray. That's all they want. Man. See, it's my running for mayor of DC is when I found out there was no such thing as democracy. That's when I found out wasn't no democracy. Don, that's all for show. That was all for show. That's just you you know. Unfortunately, they gave him more attention than he would have got if they just left him alone. See, a lot of people are doing things for the attention. They ain't doing it out of sincerity. They're doing it for the attention that they're gonna get. And he's milking it. He's getting the attention, but he's not gonna be successful because God ain't gonna bless wrong. God can't bless wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care how faithful you are. God can't bless wrong. He just can't bless wrong. So, that's something. Just sit back and watch. Just watch that. All that was for show. And he's like everybody else. Trying to get his social media following up. Well, well, see, I think January 6th, a lot of people, if they had to do it all over again, would make a different choice. And they're always going to have to make an example out of somebody. See, that's this just the way the system operates. They always gonna have to make an example out of somebody. And usually the example they make is out of people that ain't got no money to defend themselves. And the biggest issue that all of the J6 people had, they ain't had no money. They couldn't fight in court. It's just, they wouldn't. Um, well, again, Jamie, I'm saying, you know, I believe in my heart of hearts that knowing what they know now, I don't think they would go that far. Cause let's face it, man. Let's face it. Um, they tore their capital up. Man, they were pissing, shitting, destroying things, and that, how desecrating, you know, defecating and urinating in a building is fighting for your country. And see, a lot of stuff it still ain't come out. And this is what, and so they got caught up. They got to make an example out of somebody. They got to. See, let me tell you. Right now, and a lot of people might be offended by this, but see, white people now are going through stuff with the police that we've been complaining about for years. The way the police has been treating black folk for years. White people are now experiencing that, and they don't like it. See, when we were going through it, oh, you need to abide by the law. now that they're going through it, it's a problem. But when we've been complaining about this for years. Black folk been treated like this for years. And white people are just now, for America be 250 years old this year. And now you just now experiencing some discrimination from the police after 250 years. Okay, they don't. So and talk about people losing everything. See, regardless to your status, you still have to be treated humanely. And see what they did with the J6 people was they used them as an example to discourage People from, because people gonna always say, remember how they treated them people in DC from January 6th? They ain't gonna be too anxious to jump out and do that again because they now got something to go by, okay? And they were. And that's by design to be a discouragement for other people. That's all that was, Jamie. They had to use somebody as an example as a deterrent for other people. So if this happened again, folk ain't they gonna think twice. See, they'll think twice about doing this again. And what that showed the Republican Party was, man, they got some people that's willing to go to battle for them. Well, yeah, God does know the truth. But in the meantime, you still got some people that's been screwed over. And listen, y'all, I can tell you, man, one of the reasons I'm in the position that I'm in right now is because, I was treated unfairly at Metro. They stole my job. I mean, literally. And when I would complain about how I was treated, oh, you should have known better. But they dogged me, man. I just refused to give up. So, okay. Well, one way or the other, my story gonna get told. Because if I get success in my corner, my story gonna, how y'all treated me, I'm gonna be able to talk about it, and ain't nothing you can do about it. You see, so you got to determine, what's your position? What you gonna do? Even when you've been mistreated, been used and abused, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Because you're gonna have to do something. And you either gonna wallow in your anger, or okay, hey Tanya, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. You either gonna wallow in your anger and self-pity, or you gonna dig a way out, or you gonna find a way out and do something different. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Oh, I'm capping. No, I ain't capping, man. All my shit is real. I don't have to cap. I don't have to cap. See, when you're capping, you pretending to be something that you ain't. And I ain't trying to pretend to be something that I ain't. This is me right here. This is the real deal, buddy. It don't get no realer than this. Oh man, you got 650. You what? You 350 subscribers from being able to go live. That cop to be well. See, here's the thing with the police. I think what we are seeing is how poorly trained police officers are. Okay, I don't have to stunt, man. I don't have to stunt. I don't. That's something that I ain't never had to do. I ain't never had to stunt. I don't have to pretend to be what I ain't. I am who I am. It's just that simple. And I think that's probably what people are not used to. Somebody being sincere and genuine. I ain't got to pretend. I don't have to pretend. Because see, when you pretending and you're faking it, you're not yourself. And people can feel that. Okay? Well, again, well, see, here's the thing. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with Ashley Babbitt. If you see somebody standing there pointing a gun, got their weapons drawn, why the fuck you gonna try to be the first one bust through the window? When you see they standing there with guns drawn, ain't like they got to pull it out they standing there with their pistols. And you gonna bust through the window too? You gonna break through anyway? That's stupidity. That's just downright stupid. Okay? It don't matter. It don't matter whether he was in uniform or not. I'm telling you, you see, and he wasn't the only one with his gun drawn. Okay? So you got to realize you don't know who was behind that door that they protecting. You don't know who was behind that door. And you're gonna be the first one to jump up in there. Oh no, you got what you got. Cause that's stupid for you to sit there and you can rationalize talking about he was being paid to be there. He was a detective. He was on the payroll. He wasn't off duty. He was working. And unfortunately, most of the actions of police officers are warranted. They justify that. That ain't that look at how many black people done lost their lives. Being shot by cops. Ain't nothing. Oh well, you shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have done that. Okay, and that's the problem. And again, what you're seeing in America is a lack of training in the police department. That's what's being shown now. Man, they ain't trained properly. Cause some of them jokers, man, don't even speaking of people losing everything. Can you imagine um, some of them people that's been deported? You think their houses ain't been broken into? You think people ain't stole all their shit? Knowing they've been deported? You think ain't nobody that went in there and took their shit? And see, and my thing is, okay, even if you're here illegally, you still should be treated like a human being. And they got men in ICE that are inhumane, and that shit gonna come back on them. It's coming back. A lot of this stuff these guys are doing, man, a lot of them gonna commit suicide. You watch. You watch. A lot of these ICE officers are gonna commit suicide. Okay? They're gonna commit suicide, man. And see, right now, you got an administration that is upholding that action. But what's gonna happen? Because see, murder don't have a statute of limitations. Murder ain't got no statute of limitations. Okay? This is why a lot of folk don't want this Epstein stuff to come out, because a lot of them kids were murdered. They murdered a lot of children. Ain't no statute of limitation on that. And they got to live with that shit. They got to live with it. And and the more, see, there's a story in the Bible where these two lepers were out in the desert. They say, if we stay here, we're gonna die. If we go into the city, we gonna die. So let's go into the city, and God made the people in the camp from the footsteps of the men that were coming towards us sound like it was an army of horses. And they panicked and ran and left everything. And these lepers came in and like, where's everybody? They gone. They abandoned. See, this is why you don't you don't know what God, how He's gonna amplify what you're doing. As long as you see, as long as you're doing it from your heart, God can work with you. When you start doing it from your head, now you got an ulterior motive. When you're doing it from your heart, you ain't got no motive. You know, you doing it out of sincerity. And you got to know the difference between the two. See, you got to know when somebody's helping you from their head because they got a hidden agenda, or are they assisting you from the heart? And you can feel the difference. You'll be able to feel it, man. This is one of the things now more than ever is when you really need to be tapping in to your intuition. Let me say that again. Now is when you really need to be tapping into your intuition so that you can so you can see the difference. So you'll know the difference. And you have to trust that feeling. You really do. You got to trust it. Cause if you don't, you know, you'll miss out. You'll miss out. But anyway, um, oh, it's snowing now. Dang gone. But no, man, don't get caught up. Okay? Don't get caught up. Don't let this madness, let them have their madness. Let them have that. Don't you get involved in that. Okay? I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong. And sometimes, you know, you're gonna be treated wrong. Well, again, but see, Jamie, you know, the big picture is they need to make an example out of somebody. And I for you know, whatever reason, you know, you're not comprehending that. They need to make an example out of somebody. What's going on? Okay? They need to make an example out of somebody. And they were easy targets because they knew they couldn't defend themselves. They knew it. And there that whole thing was a mess. It was a mess. And unfortunately, a lot of lives got screwed up. You know, look at how many of those J6ers that got a pardon and they back in jail again for some more dumb shit. You know, I mean, look at how matter of fact, let me Google that. Let me Google how many. Let me see what they say. Based on analysis by watchdog groups and reports early 2026, at least 33 individuals who were granted clemency pardon or had sentences commuted by Donald Trump for their involvement in January 26 Capitol riot have been rearrested. They've been rearrested. They're gonna make an example. They're gonna make an example. They're gonna make an example. And you got to know that somebody is gonna have to be made an example of. In DC, it was the J6s. They had to make an example out of them. Make them lose everything. Man, when I told y'all Metro stole my job, right? And no, I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam. No. Um, and it took me a year and a half to get my arbitration hearing. It took me a year and a half. And the letter that they sent certified to my house said I was fired for one thing, and then they turn around and put a letter in my file saying I was fired for workplace violence. So when unemployment called and asked why I was terminated, they told them I was terminated for workplace violence. They got away with it. They're gonna get away with it. Cause if you ain't got the money to fight them, what you think gonna happen? Notice this court system. You got to realize this court system only recognizes money. If you got money, you got a chance. If you ain't got no money, shit, your shit is blowing in the wind. You ain't got no money. They ain't but so much a public defender gonna do for you. Cause he ain't getting paid. He's getting paid by the government. The public defender is getting paid by the very government you're going up against. How much, come on, man. There's some things they just ain't gonna do. Cause you ain't got no money. Okay? If you ain't got, but that's the way the system is designed. The system is designed that way. If you ain't got no money, you're screwed. When it comes down to court, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. You gotta have some money to get you a lawyer. And you know, and let me show you something. As bad as them J6ers were treated in DC, ain't none of them came with no class action lawsuit. they as bad as they were treated, they just accepted. They ain't come up with no class. They ain't got together and said, man, come on, we gonna sue them. No. No. They ain't even trying to come up with a class action lawsuit. And was treated like shit, lost everything. But they ain't still try to sue. Because they ain't got no money. And ain't nobody gonna take their case without some money. That's the way the system works. So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. That's the way the system works. Money is what makes this world go round. Let me say that again. And see, this is what I be trying to tell people. You know, as there is nothing in America that is successful and don't generate no income. Don't generate no money. It's not successful. I learned that if you ain't got no, I don't care how good your ideas are. I don't care how articulate you are. If you're a politician and you can't raise no money, you're not viable. You're just not viable. And I've had situations. I remember they had a Channel 9 up on Wisconsin Avenue had a mayoral forum, and they only wanted to hear from Ray, Barry, Kelly, and Swartz. And I went up to the station to try to get in. They said, "No, you're not. Sorry, sir, but you're not welcome." And I'm beating on the door. Let me in. And the police came out there and said, "Listen, this is private property. And if you don't get off this property, you're gonna be arrested." Okay? So what am I gonna do? I left. I ain't feel like going to jail. I left. And see, a lot of times they get you in these situations knowing full well you can't defend yourself. And they beat you, they just beat you down. And a lot of them J6s, I bet you if they do that shit, they had to do that shit again after what they went through, they passed. Nah, I ain't going through that no more. I bet you you won't be able to get a J6 again. No. No. Well, you get a fair trial if you got some money. They'll respect that. Because you got a lawyer now that can do that's got some money to do some research. But if you ain't got no money, man, you ain't going nowhere. That's why they treat poor people the way they do. Because they know they ain't got the money to defend themselves. And that's why they can abuse them. Because 9 times out of 10, most what all I'm gonna do is bitch and moan and groan and complain, and that's it. That's what the majority of them gonna do. Bitch, moan, groan, and complain, and don't do nothing else. That's just the way it's gonna work. And that's just the way it's gonna be. And you have to accept that. That's the way the system is. And see, and when you start knowing how the system works, then now you can maneuver because you know what to do and what not to do. See, it's one thing, coming from the South. When I first came to DC, it was kind of difficult because, see, in the South, you know where the boundaries are. In the South, if a white person like you, you're gonna know it. If you're a black person and you in the South and a white person like you, man, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know you are liked by them because they're gonna respect you. But if you ain't liked by them, you're gonna know that too. Because they ain't gonna pull no punches with you. They're gonna tell you that I don't like you. Okay, you're gonna know they don't like you. And they're gonna make it difficult for you. And that's just the way the system operates. Man, if they like you, you can get away. If they don't like you, they're gonna jam your ass. that's, that's how the system is. I'm telling you. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's why a lot of these people who are in the files been able to get away because people like them. Listen. That's one of the reasons our president can do the stuff that he do because there are some people that I say they suffer with the Marion Barry syndrome. That's what Trump supporters suffer from the Marion Barry syndrome. Man, how you get that? Because we done seen. Listen, see, Marion Barry he's the only 4-term mayor this city has ever had. Okay, and everybody was suspicious of the drugs. Okay? Them women loved Marion Barry. They loved him. Okay? They knew he was, they loved him. But he never stole any money from the city. People around him were stealing, but he never stole any. And that's why he died in office. He died in office. And that's why but you know, there's so many other opportunities he opened up for returning citizens. Every kid during the summer had a summer job. And a lot of them were sitting around doing nothing and getting paid from the summer youth program, doing absolutely nothing and getting paid. And that was sometimes 2, 3 kids in a family that got summer jobs working with the city. That's why DC loved Marion Barry. He did look out for the people. He really did. So he can do, and no matter what the system said, they still were gonna support him. Same thing with Trump support. No matter what they say about Trump, no matter what. Now this is something I will say. He's redoing Lafayette Park right now, and I think in all fairness, I mean they are really working on that park. I mean, really, they fixing the fountains that was in there that didn't work. Redoing the sidewalks, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I really think that they should put a statue of him in the park, because he's the only president that has had the vision to come out and redo that park. Okay, so they should put a statue of him in that park, because he did renovate it. And it's not going, and I don't think they're gonna do a bad job either. I think Lafayette Park is gonna be a shining testament for years to come. I think people will be able to enjoy it for years to come. And they should put a statue of him in the park. Jamie, I've been here 50 years, okay? And in the late 80s and the early 90s, during the crack epidemic, we were the murder capital of the world. And see, and here's the thing that everybody know about DC. Until it start happening to white folk, you ain't gonna get nothing done. And unfortunately, you know, they trying to make DC out to be all that bad, but it ain't. This is a walk in the park compared to what it used to be. And I can say that from experience. Because I remember a time, man, you were scared to go outside. You were afraid to go outside. That's how bad crime was. Okay? I don't think so. I don't think so. You that's not the place that you wanna you wanna come down and be stupid. That's not the, and I'm gonna tell you, and this is what one day I had this homeless guy. Um, I just noticed, man, he was, I got these slits that people can stick money in my top. And he was trying to look down in there to see what was in my bucket. And I said, man, get the fuck out. Ain't nothing, there's nothing in there for you. Get the fuck away from me, right? This young black guy was he was trying to get in the fence, man, and they had Pennsylvania Avenue closed off. And this dude grabbed a hold to this railing and wouldn't let go. He would not let go. Okay? And so when I saw what was going on, I get out my phone and start filming it. And then they said, okay, they finally had to pick him up off his feet to make him let go, right? In the meantime, the dude that was looking off in my bucket stole it. And when I turned around and looked, I said, damn, man, somebody done got my bucket. And they closed the park down. So as I'm walking up to 8th Street, he took the bucket and threw it over in the hedges. You know, I got my bucket, so I get up to the top of 8th Street. I see the sign. I said, man, that guy just stole my money. He said, when? I said, about 5 minutes ago. He said, tell you what, we're gonna get on camera and we gonna see what we see. Right? Well, if you're not in my contacts, my phone ain't gonna ring. I was getting so many spam phone calls where if you're not in my contacts, my phone won't ring. It's gonna go straight to voicemail. Right? So they found the guy. And I'm going home, and when I finally get, I look at the phone and said, damn, I got all these calls. I call the cop. He said, man, listen, we had the guy, but we couldn't hold him because we couldn't find you. We couldn't come. We had to let him go. Right? They followed that guy on camera to wherever he went and got him. Right? So I said, okay. Next day, I go down. One of the Secret Service come up to me. He said, Don, listen, the guy that stole your money is right up there on the corner. What you want to do? I said, if he that crazy that he gonna do that, man, he looking for, he trying, fuck him, leave him alone. I ain't, let him go. I ain't, but every time and he walked down the street and I give him a microphone and say, hey, y'all see that guy right there? He's a thief. Don't turn your back on him because he got me. I mean, I would blast him out. Every time he came around, I said, hey, we got a thief among us. There he is. Don't turn your back on him. All right. That's what I did. All right. But they showed me then that, man, whatever kind of camera system they got around that white shit, you ain't gonna get far. You ain't gonna get far. I had this white guy, um, something citizen he had, but J Sixer, okay, but he came down. He had this pretty Asian woman with him. I said, man, you know damn well you ain't supposed to be down here. He said, man, I know. He's a true conductor, I know, but I got my friend and I'm just trying to show her, what's going on. And about 15 minutes later, Secret Service walked up to me and they showed me his picture and said, Don, have you seen this guy walking up beside son? I said, yeah, I just took a selfie with him. He was in the park. They said his car, and this is what they found. He said he done parked his car about 5 blocks away, and we were scanning tags, and we saw that he was in the area, and we trying to find him. I'm telling you, they got a system down there, boy, where shoot, man, I wouldn't. That ain't the place to come down and do nothing stupid, for real. That is not the place. The White House is not the place where you want to come and lose your mind. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Oh, I know Rebecca. Rebecca is that China woman. She's that Chinese woman. I know her. Every time I see her, boy, I play China's national anthem, and she be like, yeah, I mean, she be, don't, that they, communists, she go off, man. I'll be like, okay. That's what you get. That's what you get. Cause she be another guy. I can't think of his name, but yeah, he come down and I mean, a lot of them guys I know. A lot of them I know. Even the Steve that was with the flag that got arrested because for sexual assault because he stuck a flag between Anarchy Prince's legs. Yeah, I know. Oh, they know. They know that. Listen. Let me tell you something about. See what they doing with this lady's mother that's on NBC. See, they testing out a lot of stuff now. They using her to track people. See, they out of fear. You watch. They gonna start embedding chips into senior citizens. See, they using this as for a reason. I mean, they testing. She got a pacemaker. You know, they using that man to expand their powers. They know that woman. They probably know that woman dead, man. But they using that to be able to explore some other stuff that they gonna pile on people out of fear. You know that's what they gonna do. They know that woman dead, man. That woman probably dead, and they know it. But they using her as an excuse to be able to implement some stuff with people out of fear. They know everything about her, man. They know where she is. They know who got her. They know all of that. But once they get through implementing whatever they doing, then you're gonna start seeing some results. But they know where she is. And listen, there is no way that that you can do this kind of stuff and get away. I mean, she was on medication. You think they're not monitoring everybody that coming by some of that medication she was on? You think they ain't looking into them? I mean, think about it. You think, there are a lot of things you think they ain't they know. They know. They know. They know. I guarantee you, they know. But they trying to implement some stuff. They trying to, they're gonna use that fear of what's going on to shake people down. And that's how they manipulate us with fear. No, she did. That woman probably did. She probably did. She probably is dead. But I don't believe it's a stranger that is in. I think that's somebody that the family knows. I think it's somebody the family knows. I really do. And it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't some of her own kids doing that. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But in this day and time, they monitoring everything. They monitoring everything. And if she's on medication and she been this for a month now, and that woman dead. That woman dead. Because her body probably is just having withdrawals, and she got a pacemaker. So and if she ain't got a medication, and she on, she's 9 times out of 10 she dead, and that's a horrible way to go out. It really is. That's a horrible way to go out. Somebody kidnap you, and cause your death. Cause your death. That's just, it's horrible. It's just horrible. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I really would. But you watch, they gon' have they're gonna come up with a new system to track people. And that's what they're implementing right now. They're using this situation to be able to track people. So even if they take your phone, they do all this other stuff, they still gonna be able to track you. They're gonna put some kind of chip in people that they're gonna be able to track them. That's what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen. And I think that's what this is designed to create. A new form of tracking. Yeah, she did. She did. You know, God rest her soul. I'm sorry it happened to you. Sorry, at 84 years old, that's a hell of a way to go out. Somebody kidnap you. That's a hell of a thing, man. That's a hell of a thing. That ain't no fun. That ain't no fun at all. Yeah, they're gonna be able to. That's what they're doing. Cause right now I read an article where they're now got helicopters that are flying over the area, testing out pacemakers. See, and you don't know if in fact she could be trapped with a pacemaker. That's something that they might start. One thing Americans are going to have to accept is, man, we don't have no privacy. Ain't no such thing as privacy in America. There's no such thing. You ain't got no privacy. Your phones are listening to you. You ever been talking and out of the blue, this phone will contact who? Start talking to you, asking, it's listening to you. This thing right here is listening to you. It's listening to you. You don't know how many of these apps that are listening to you because you give them control of your camera and your microphone. That's why I don't have a TikTok. That's when TikTok first came out, man, I had 3 different Truth Conductor accounts on TikTok. And I put the real Truth Conductor. And I complained and complained and complained to TikTok that these were, fake accounts, and they would do nothing. I just said, the hell with it. I don't want to be. Then I realized, you give them the permission to your camera, your microphone, and your bank account. TikTok has access to your bank account. And who say that app can't shut this phone down? Who say that app can't shut this phone down and make people panic? Because most of the stuff people do is on their phone. That's what most of the stuff people handle now is on their phones. What if one of these apps can shut this thing down and you can't do nothing but panic? And that's what see. What a lot of people complain about, folk that got money, about the rich, but yet they don't try to come up with any ideas to get up in that group. So you can sit down and complain about rich folk all you want. How come you ain't trying to get up there with them? Most folk don't think they can. Most people don't think they can come up with a rags to riches idea. Most people don't even try to come up with a rags to riches idea. They don't even try. So ain't no sense in complaining, man. Get up in there with them. Get up in that shoe. They better not let me up in there. You better not let me up in there, buddy, because I'm telling you, I'm coming up through there with a big stick. God damn it. Bam! Take that, God damn it. Yeah. Yeah, let me get up in there, buddy. It's gonna be some shit. I'm telling you that now. Yes, sir, buddy. Yeah, I'm walking up in there. I ain't lying. Yes, Lord. Let me get up in there with some shit. See, and this is why I be trying. Look, let me tell you something, y'all. Listen. Anything that is um, um, valuable, or anything that is um, everybody can't drive a Rolls Royce. And let me put it, everybody can't drive a Rolls Royce, you know, and unfortunately, a lot of people carry themselves as Volkswagens and Toyotas and Fords. You know, they don't see themselves special. You know, when you're special, everybody can't have you. Let me say that again. See, when you're special, when you're rare, when you're different, everybody can't have you. See, you look at all of the men who are walking around with their dicks in their hands, you know, got all kind of baby mamas, and they broke. But everybody, I ain't for everybody. I don't care how fine you are, how pretty you are, okay? That don't move me. I ain't for everybody. Everybody can't have me. Everybody can't get with me. And I mean that. I mean that. Okay, and at this age, I'm stingy with the dick. I'm telling you, I ain't lying. No. At this age, man, I'm real stingy with the dick. Now, everybody can't get this. Everybody ain't gonna get this. I don't care who you are. Man, and I say this all the time. I could walk into a room and Holly Berry can be butterball naked on the bed and I turn right around and walk out. I don't want that. That's some toxic poo nanny. I don't want that. I don't want that. And it's toxic. I don't want it. Okay? Oh, you like shit. Try me. Yeah, I turn right around and walk out, buddy. I don't want that. Mm-mm. I don't want it. A lot of them, Kardashians and Jada Smith and Nicki Minaj and oh man, shit, man, get the fuck out of my face. I ain't interested in that. I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want something everybody done had. I don't want that. I'm let me get up let me get up in the billions. Let me get up. Yeah. If I'm a cheat on and see, I ain't seen my wife and going on, we'll be married 7 years. Let me see, hold on a second here. Make sure. 6 years. 6 years. I think it's 6 years. 7 years. Be 7 years this year. Thank you very much. And oh shit, hell no. Hell no, Rosie O'Donnell, hell no. Butch, no, 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 no. But me and my wife be married 7 years this year. And the one thing that I do know that God can't bless wrong. And so I could be screwing out of both legs right now. My wife wouldn't know, but God would. God wouldn't know. Oh, I still got it. I still got it. That's I still got my that's I told my kids, don't get rid of the hat, man. I got my original. I have my original True Conductor hat. I got the original. I got the original. I sure do. Got the original True Conductor hat. I do. I still got it. I still got it. Still got it. And sooner or later, man, something, I don't know where it is or when it's gonna happen, but something is gonna break open. Something is gonna break open. And I'm at this point, I'm just glad I didn't give up and quit, man. And there were many a nights that I didn't know which end was up. I didn't know where no money was gonna come from. I didn't know how, but God always opened up a way. Always open up a way. That's one thing I can say, man. For the last 3 years that I've been in this situation right here, God has always opened up a way. And and all I had to do was just believe. And there were times that I panicked. I had times where I panicked because I couldn't see no way out. And God always opened up a door. Always gave me favor. And so now, and that's just that's what I believe. God is always going to open up a way. All I have to do is just live a clean lifestyle. That's all God asked me. Man, just live right. Live right. Be right by people. Do right by people. And it's not easy, man, cause doing right by people, you 9 times out of 10, you're gonna want to be the one get used and abused. Trying to do the right thing by somebody. And that's all I try to do. Man, is do right by people. And yes, it is discouraging when people can't see the good that you do, that you're trying to do. Or try to minimize the good that you do. You see? And that's what discourages a lot of people is they don't really get the support trying to do right. They can come out here and do wrong and get rich overnight. But doing it the right way, man, sometimes people just don't want to accept it. And they agree with it. But they just don't want to, they scared to, because they don't know what you're going to do with the money. Yeah, oh, he been great. Man, my grandson is taking New York by storm. He is. Taking New York by storm. Yeah, he's a Broadway musician. I mean, he's really doing good. Really doing good. Really doing good. All right, y'all. All right. Man, it's trying to it's trying to snow out here now. Let me see what they talking about with this weather. It's trying look like it's trying to snow. Snow for the next hour. It's gonna be snowing until 1 o'clock this morning. Then the wind coming. Yep. But anyway, um, yeah, it's snowing. It's snowing. Yeah, it is. It is. But the worst we didn't have every 10 years, man. We get a bad storm. Um, 2 feet, Lord have mercy. No, we still got some snow from this last about almost a month ago. This snow still ain't melted yet, man. We still dealing with it. But DC usually get every 10 years we get hit with a snowstorm, and we just got it. This last snowstorm we had where it dumped all this stuff. Every 10 years, man, you can. It's like clockwork. We have a big snowstorm. If since the 50 years that I have been here in DC, every 10 years we get a gigantic snowstorm. you know. And then for the next years, like for the next 9 years, winter be off and on. You know, be cold. We won't get no significant snow, but 10 years in 2036, we'll get hit again. We'll get another big snowstorm. But anyway, man, thank y'all so very much. But listen, you know, start listening to your intuition. Pay attention. Get you some ideas, cause things are changing. They're changing. They really are. Thank you, B. They really are changing, y'all. We coming into a different mindset than what we had. Okay, Jamie, and get you something where you can start getting you some independence, and you can break away from this system. Because when this system collapses, man, it's gonna take everybody with them. And what you're trying to do is get out of that. Get something where you can have some kind of control over what you're gonna do and how you do it. And you're gonna go through some things, but just don't give up. Because God can't bless quitting. That's the one thing that I've learned. God can't bless you when you quit. He can't bless you. Can't bless a quitter. Because when you quit, you lose faith. You know? And that's what you're not trying to do, is lose faith. So hang in there, man. No matter how difficult it might be, what it might seem, God will always open up a way. If you're doing the right thing, God will open up a way for you. I'm a witness. I'm a living witness. Okay? See you later.